What is up, Squared Nation? Welcome back to No Counters, No Combos, and today we're going to be going over a budget-friendly Gohan deck that I've been testing with some success. For all you budget players out there who aren't willing to break your wallet, I really do understand where you guys are coming from. That does not mean that you cannot enjoy the Dragon Ball Super card game. Before we dive into the list, as you can see at the bottom left here, we have a couple sponsors, Your Playmat and Loot Crate. If you're into custom creations, whether it's card sleeves, playmats, even foil playmats, you can check out the link tree in the description box down below to use our coupon code at checkout for 10% off of your order. And Loot Crate is a mystery subscription box that usually comes on a monthly basis depending on the package that you choose. If you're into that sort of stuff to get like mystery goodies and just have a surprise as to what you're going to get, feel free to use our coupon code at checkout for 15% off of your subscription. So getting that out of the way, before we really get started here, I also wanted to mention that tomorrow, August 31st, will be 1 year that I've been back in the Dragon Ball Super card game. Just want to give a real quick shout out to the community that we've built at Gamers Edge. You know, shout out to the boys, Tristan, Hudson, Matt, even though Matt did leave us and move to Tennessee, Dylan, Charlie, Kobe, Carlos, Anj, Christian, the list goes on and on and on. Jesus, Dimitri, everybody that has come, graced our, our locals there, has come to the door and has sat down with us to play Dragon Ball Super. I really appreciate it. I felt, welcomed into the community. It was a little bit trepidatious for me in the beginning because it was something new, but they just kind of welcomed me with open arms, and I'm really happy what we've built. And, here's to an awesome, 2022 and the upcoming season. So, with that being said, I kind of wanted to just kind of go over this budget option here for most of the new players. With the recent emergency ban list that we've received, a lot of decks are kind of coming into contention. The meta is a lot more widespread, and I think it also opens up a lot of avenues for possibilities for budget players. So this deck priced out, I guarantee it you can get it for less than $50 if you make smart purchases. I would definitely recommend buying 2 of these starter Vegeta decks because you're going to get a bulk of the cards that you need for this deck in those 2 boxes, like the Yamcha counterplays, the skill-less cards, and I believe the Vegetas and the Gokus come in there as well. So you might have to pick up a couple singles along the way, especially for the SR Gohans that we're going to go over, and one of the Friezas from the expansion sets that we got a couple years ago. But for the most part, everything is fairly inexpensive, and I do not anticipate you guys spending more than $50 to play this deck, which I would definitely take to a local. I wouldn't play it on a regional level, but you can make some tweaks here and there, which I'm sure you guys will see something in the near future, wink wink, as far as what you can do to upgrade this list to make it more competitively viable. So let's get right into it. First card we're going to go over is Son Goku Spirit Boost Warrior. He's a 4-drop 20k deflect double strike dual attack. He's basically your boss monster for the deck. A lot of people have been comparing him to a Boonie that we got a couple years ago. If this card is in rest mode and you have a unison, a red unison with a specified cost of 2 in play, this card and your leader get plus 1000 power. So he'd be a 21, is it 1000 power? Yeah, he'd be a 21k attacker, and your leader would be 16k when he's in rest mode. So this card's in rest mode. So as soon as he attacks, the permanent kicks in. So he would be swinging for 21k dual attack double strike, which means your opponent would have to combo up to 25 just to survive that. And also making your leader a 16k swing is really nice. Also defensively is good too, because they have to combo up into a leader swing and also combo up into him. He also has a limit, an auto limit 1, Spirit Boost 1. You can remove a marker from your unison when this card is placed in your drop area from the battle area by opponent's skill or KO'd. You can play him from your drop area. So if he gets killed, he does have deflect. So most of the counter plays are not going to hit him, but if he does get charismatic villained, you can Spirit Boost 1 just to bring him back out, and your opponent kind of shut themselves off from counter plays for the rest of the turn. He's also really nice because if they swing over him, you can Spirit Boost 1, bring him back out, and now they have to worry about not only him, but an extra 1k on your leader. So he's really good for late game situations. 4 is kind of expensive for this guy, but he does have deflect, so you definitely want to play him on a kill turn 4, or if you get to turn 5, which is definitely going to be possible now in the new format. being able to play a little bit later. I think he's a really good card. He doesn't have unique, so you can slam 2 of these guys on the table if you have them. So that's why we're playing 2 copies. Next card we're playing is Frieza, Fair-Weathered Friend. This guy is really interesting. I just accidentally came across him as I was looking through like my red cards, and I noticed him as well as a couple other cards that you might be able to use for the actual starter Vegeta. But this guy's really interesting because he's a double strike 20k unique, so you can only have 1 out at a time. Auto for 2 red. If your leader is red and you have a red unison with specified cost of 2 in play, at the end of a battle in which you combo with this card, you can play him. So what's really interesting about him is for 2 energy, you get a 20k double striker on the board after your combo step. So you get to trigger your leader's ability to draw once you've comboed with the Universe 7. So he's instantly replacing himself. He's giving you a 20k double strike body on the board, and auto once per turn when your opponent activates a counter skill, choose up to one of their battle cards ignoring barrier, and it gets minus 30k power for the turn. That's a really good way to clear off stuff, especially if you want to be aggressive. If your opponent decides that they want to negate this card's attack, or just play any counter during your turn, or any turn rather, when it's once per turn, so you could technically proc it on your opponent's turn as well. They're going to lose 30k on a battle card ignoring barrier, so that essentially hits everything that's not a secret rare, because secret rares are usually in the 40s. But anything that's 30 or less, not ignoring barrier, it does interact with indestructible, because indestructible can be removed by reaching 0 battle power, because not being KO'd, it's just it's being removed by game mechanics. So this is a really good card. I think a 20k double striker for 2 energy that you're going to draw a card off when you combo is not that bad. He's also only a 5k combo, so you don't really have to worry about you don't have to worry about committing too much energy to him. So it makes him really good in my opinion. Next card we're gonna go over here, as you can see, is We Are Universe 7. So I like this card. It's basically just like it's not a cantrip, it's a tutor, so to speak. For 1 energy, you can just grab a Universe 7 that's 4 or less out of your deck, or you can just grab one from your drop area. It's really good late game, especially if you want to recycle your super combos, which is really nice, or recycle your 1-drop Gohans, which we have other cards in the deck that help you recycle your SRs. But I just like this card. I wouldn't play 4 simply because it's an extra card, and there are situations where this card might be dead. But I think 3 is a good number. If you open turn 1, you can just kind of grab your plays and go from there. I wish it could search out unisons, but unisons don't have, they don't have traits essentially, so you really can't search for them because it says Universe 7 card, but unisons don't really have that specification. So I like this card. You can always charge it if you get it, if you don't need it, but it's just another way to filter cards out, whether it's a skill list that you might need for combo or whatnot. Another card from the Vegeta starter deck is Surprise That Gohan. I like this guy 4 of because he only costs 1 energy to play. You do have to have at least 2 mono red battle cards in your combo area, but he only costs 1 energy, and if you have multiples, you can spam them out on the board within the same activate battle, because there's no limit to how many times you can play this guy. So most of the time you're gonna be on your awaken turn, like when you play your unison, you can swing, combo Universe 7 to draw on the front side. You can awaken and then combo again to get the proc off on the back side. So you're drawing 2 there. So that right there gives you your 2 red battle cards in the combo area, which then you can go ahead and tap 1 to play the Gohan and tap another one to play 2 if you wanted to do that, because you're going to be awakening on turn 2. You do have to be careful though, because if you've played your unison to awaken, most of the time you're going to be tapped out unless you've already awakened and you have 1 free energy open. So turn 2, realistically, it's probably smart to just play one of these guys. But as the game continues and you get more and more energy charged, you can see where the infinite value comes. I like playing this guy defensively because if my opponent has something on the board that I anticipate them swinging at me with, I can combo out of their initial swing and then play him, tap 1, play him, neg something by 10k, so that it's not really an offensive threat, moving forward. But offensively, it's also really good because you can kind of if they have blockers or anything like that, you can get rid of them before you can just go all in on your big turn. So he's just a really good 1 energy, another searchable card, a 20k battle card. It's really good in my opinion. The unison of choice for this deck, and we're only playing 4, we're not playing 6 because there are ways of searching this guy, is Frieza the Unlikely Savior. What makes this guy really good is the effect that he can recycle your skillless cards for more combo later on. So for +1, you can choose one of your skillless in the drop area and put it at the bottom of your deck. He also has a Spirit Boost skill. Once per turn, when you activate Spirit Boost, you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards in -10k power, which is nice. And then he has a +0 auto. When your opponent attacks, whether it's him or any other card that you control, you can choose up to 1 skill as Universe 7 card in your hand or drop area on combo with it. So I like this Frieza because he essentially gives you value from your drop area. If you control a skillless in your drop area, you can combo with them to proc your leader auto, and if you have your 1 drop out, you're going to essentially draw 2 cards. So it's a nice way of always having something in the drop area, and if you have more than 1 in the drop area, you can always +1 on offense to send 1 back down to the bottom of the deck and search it out later if you need it. Having 1 skillless in the drop area is really important, so you definitely want to get those guys in there as early as possible because you'll be able to benefit off of this Frieza as much as you can. And the Spirit Boost skill on the leader, we haven't really gone over the leader just yet, but the Spirit Boost on the leader is also works really well with this guy because he's able to not, even though he's only adding 1 marker per turn, he's able to stay a little sticky because of that auto. If he swung at, he could combo up to 20 and draw you 2 cards if the situation accounts for itself. Android 18. So I like this card for 2 reasons. She has barrier, and she makes your skillless battle cards or any Universe 7 combo card an extra 5k. So obviously you have to have her out on the board in order to get that activate battle. But she's only 2 energy and she's got barrier, so most of the time she's gonna stick on turn 2. I'm only playing 3 because my more important turn 2 play is my unison, but if I have more energy to do something with later, you can always underdrop her on turn 3 or just play her as the game progresses because she's just going to gain value as you get to the later stages of the game. She also has an auto if you control a skillless battle card in your combo area and then you combo her, so you only control a maximum of 2 cards. If she's the second card that you combo with, you get to draw off of her. So if you proc it right, you'll draw 1 off of leader, you'll draw 1 off of the SRs comboing with a skillless, and then you'll draw another if you combo her with a skillless to go ahead and draw a 3rd card. Now you can sequence it properly to where you're activating battle on the initial skillless that you comboed and then combo for an extra 5k. So it's really nice. I mean, you're talking about, that's a 15k combo with just 2 cards. If you want to use your super combo, you can make your super combo a 15k combo with her on the board. She's not going to get to draw because it's not a skillless, but being able to use the activate battle to make your super combos more potent is really good in my opinion. Probably the bread and butter of this deck is the 1-drop SR, Ultimate Essence Son Gohan. This guy is essentially just your tutor, your searcher. Very similar to the Whis that we got back in set 12. However, he procs on both players' turns. Whis only procs essentially on your opponent's turn because in the Whis deck, you can only play the skillless out on the board when it's your opponent's turn. You can still combo and draw, but you're not gonna get the full effect out of it in the Whis. But this Gohan is kind of proofed that way. He was edited a little bit to make it a little different from the Whis because he can be procced on both players' turns. So when he's played, you look at up to the top 5 cards from the top of your deck. You can add a Universe 7 card with an energy cost a 4 or less, or 1 red unison with specified cost of 2. Now I like the fact that they've kept the theme throughout. You're playing Universe 7, you can search for Universe 7 cards with an energy cost of 4 or less. So the only thing that can't be searched, technically, is a unison. If you have an extra card that counts as Universe 7, you'll be able to search it. Now, if you guys remember from Tournament of Power, Representatives of Universe 7 has a permanent that it gains Universe 7 in all areas. So that's a situation where you'll be able to search an extra card off of this guy if you really wanted to. Otherwise, you're just going to grab, whatever pieces that you flip over, but your Unison is going to be your main target, so you can awaken. And then he has the auto limit once per turn. If your leader card is red, when you combo with a mono red skillless battle card, draw a card. So like I said, you can proc this on offense. It's only once per turn, and it's a hard once per turn. So even if you have multiple copies on this guy out on the board, you're not going to be able to proc him multiple times. It's going to be once per turn. So you combo with a skillless, your leader triggers, your 1-drop triggers, you're going to draw 2 cards every time you go ahead and do that. The super combo that we're using is Backbone of Universe 7. This is an older card. This might be a little tougher to get your hands on. It is super cheap, but it is from Tournament of Power. The Vegeta starter deck does come with the TN super combos that are Universe 7, so you'll be able to use them. But the reason I like Backbone is because Backbone becomes live when you're at 5 or less. So the reason we do that, let's go ahead and look at the leader. We're looking at the leader here, Son Gohan, right? On the front side, he's a 10k attacker, War Universe 7. That doesn't really matter in this deck because it's mono red. But essentially, when you control a Unison with specified cost of 2, you can flip over, untap 1, draw 1, okay? And you take life until you're at 5. So the fact that you can take life and put yourself in super combo range is really nice because you'll be able to go ahead and defend with that 5th life, which will help you trigger your oppositions later on. So I really like Backbone. Can you get away with TN? Of course you can. You just won't be able to use TN so you're at 4 or less life. But TN is also a Universe 7 card, so you still get the added draw off of the leader and the super combo ability as well. So I use Backbones there. We're going to go with 8 skillless here, 4 Gokus and 4 Piccolos. I just feel like that's the right number. Some people are using 10, some people are using 7. I feel like 8 is the right number with the amount of draw and searchability in this deck and recyclability. You're never going to not have a skillless. I always try to recommend opening with at least 1 skillless so you can start, getting your deck, going off to the races. If you mulligan and you don't get a skillless, it might be a tough time, but there are some strategies where you can search for them. Obviously your 1-drops, your We Are Universe 7s and stuff like that will help you dig through your deck and try to grab them and put them in board because they are important to facilitate your strategy. We are playing 2 Topo Righteous Age, just the Floodgate, red Floodgate. I think Floodgates are going to make a huge comeback in the game right now, especially body counter Floodgates. You have Topo, you have Boo, you have Poutine for Mechikibura, and you have Mecha Frieza, the Riposte. I think they're going to be heavily played, and just giving yourself a 20k body is really nice, for 2 energy. This deck is very efficient. Your bigger guys, except for the Goku, don't really cost too much. Your Frieza is 2 energy. Everything else is essentially kind of 1 or free, except for your Goku. So obviously you're going to have energy open to play defensive, and giving you a defensive body on board that you can then use offensively to swing for 20k is really good in my opinion. We're playing 1 Hidden Power E Supreme Kai, Double Strike Champa, Hidden Supreme Kai. Every deck should have at least 1 in my opinion, just because it gives you that ability to make your leader swing for lethal if you really need to. This is a 51 card deck. Most of my decks are 51 cards because I include the Double Strike Champa or Kai, but you can probably get away with 50 or 52 depending if you want to make some adjustments or cuts. We're playing 4 Yamcha Merciless Barrage. Now, before the starter decks came out, this card was in the $7 to $10 range. But now with the starter deck, you can get 2 copies in each starter deck. So if you go ahead and purchase 2 starter decks, they're usually around 12 to 15 bucks. For 30 bucks, you get basically 90% of this deck. So Yamcha Merciless Barrage is really good. His windows are a little confusing because of how timing works out, but it's still a really good card because a lot of cards now in the meta are played off of skills, so you will be able to resolve that. You're going to have your Freezer live turn 2, and just being able to play Merciless Barrage on both players' turns is really nice. Just gives you another 15k body that you can use for combo. He's also a red battle card, so you can proc off your skills for mono red. One of the better finishers in this deck is Mira. I really like Mira. I think Mira is going to make a strong comeback in the game. It's an old SR from like set 3 or 4, and they did reprint it in one of the anniversary boxes. So you can get this card for super cheap. He's basically your overrun for 1 energy. He's got the flex, so counterplays don't affect him. You do have to watch out for Charismatic Villain because he will pop him. But essentially what he does is he gains 5k for every card in your warp. So he's a very big swing. If your opponent doesn't have the negate and doesn't read Mirror coming down and you have the Champa in your hand or the Kai in your hand, you're talking a very big double strike for 2 energy. If they can't stop it, it's mostly GG's. You're not going to really combo out of a Mirror. You do have to watch out for combo tricks. for battle tricks, rather, active battle, stuff like that. But for the most part, if you can read a clear win and you can do calculations and do some table math, Mirror should be able to sneak it out for you. I think you're gonna start seeing a lot more mirrors, in my opinion. We're playing 1, testing the op. Like I said, when you awaken, you go to 5. So testing the op right away is going to put you to 4 and give you essentially 2 defensive plays, 1 negate and 1 blocker on the board. It's just a really good card. A lot of these counters that were released in Battle Evolution are really good. I think decks should probably be running at least 1 or 2 of them, in my opinion, just for some more added defensive help. Unending Awakening is my extra card counter of choice. I really like this card. It's older. It does come in the starter deck, so you'll be able to get them. But I really do like this card for a couple of reasons. It's 1 energy to negate the attack, but it also gives you like a pseudo sensu bean on your red leader. So it's gonna make Gohan a 20k leader, which if you go into the combo game step with your opponent, that's what you want to do, because that's what's going to make you draw cards. So you could probably, if you time everything right and you sequence everything properly and you can see your opponent's board, you can negate a really big swing. And then if they try to just come at you with 20Ks, you can just combo out and just start drawing for days. So I really like Unending Awakening. I think, negates that are going to buff your leader are really important right now. I mean, the meta's not going to be as wide as it was prior to the ban list, but I still think giving you that extra 5k is really strong defensively, and it is only 1 energy, so it's not going to hurt you too much. We're playing 2 Surprises Attack Vegeta. Like I said, this is a more aggressive version of the deck. As soon as you start Spirit Boosting with Frieza, you are going to go ahead and be able to free play this guy. You can only control 1 at a time, so you have to be careful, and you have to be at 2 energy. So he's a 15k critical attacker. Very straightforward, but it's a free body that you can play off a Spirit Boost. And when you Spirit Boost off the Gohan, it does make your combo cards a lot stronger. So that's another way of doing that. And then probably my favorite card in the deck is this Android 17 Rebel Reinforcement. It is a body counter for 2 energy, but the reason I like is because if you don't have your SR on board, you can go ahead and play him out of your drop area. It doesn't negate any skills or anything like that. So as soon as you play the Gohan, you're going to look at top 5 and add whatever pieces that you need to further your strategy. So like I said, I really like this deck. I've been having a lot of fun testing it. There's definitely a lot of tweaks you can make to make it more competitive, but this is a very budget-friendly list. Like I said, I'd be very surprised if this deck costs you guys like $50 or more. I'm 100% confident you can make it for less than $50. The most expensive card in the deck is probably your SR Gohan. I'm not sure what the value is on the starter deck Yamchas, but they're in a starter deck, and like I said, if you pick up 2 starter decks, you're going to have like 90% of this deck completed. So I think the most expensive card, if you're going to buy singles, is probably the SR Gohan. I think he's sitting like $2 or $3 right now. So like I said, I'm really confident you guys can build this deck for less than $50. I do like catering to the budget player because I consider myself a budget player as well. I really like to try finding new ways to quote-unquote win or be successful with less expensive cards. It just feels a lot better. So this is the deck that I'm going to be testing probably next week once I get my hands on the cards that I'm missing. But I've been testing it online. I've been testing it with proxies, obviously, as well, and it's been doing really well. Like I said, the 4-drop Goku's a house. Frieza catches people off guard, and being able to recycle your skills and your 1-drops is really nice. So thank you again for the support. Welcome me back to the community. For another, it's been a good year, and I'm really excited moving into 2022, with the Dragon Ball Super card game. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and please hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything No Counters, No Combos. We really do appreciate the support, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Be there or be squared.